Hi guys, welcome to episode 16. This is the peer-to-peer network coding series. Today, what we have for today is we're going to check when we broadcast signals to clients that we should take into account not only the WebSocket clients connected, but also if they are not network nodes, if they are following the social trading bot emitting the signal. That's what we are going to solve today. And maybe we go further and see if we can emit the signals to other network nodes and continue the chain through the network nodes. Okay, so let me take a note of what is also needed. Something similar happens with the events, to be honest. When broadcasting events, I'm talking about social trading events. Okay, when broadcasting social trading events, we should take into account who is following the event emitter and not just send the event to everyone. Okay, today is going to everyone. It's a very similar problem. And a third point would be that the signals today are broadcasted only to the clients at the same network node where the signal is received. So we need to follow or send a signal to other network nodes, not only to the clients. Okay, so that it should travel from node to node. Okay, this is the list of things to do. We will see which one we can do today. The first one for sure. So let's jump into the code. Okay, we will need for this workspace. We're going to simplify a little bit this stuff because we have too many open tabs. Okay, well, I will simplify it as much as I can. So we have the network root, network app. This is the sequence of calls. Then we don't need this or this. WebSocket interface, yes, we need it. HTTP, maybe. Not this. No bootstrapping process. Not this either. So essentially, the thing happens here. Broadcast to clients. Okay. And indeed, there is something here. At the HTTP interface, when a signal comes, it will get into client interface of trading signals. So let's check that out. Trading signals, client interface. Okay, broadcast to clients. So how are we going to solve this problem? Because today we have this function where we can iterate over all network clients, and we send this signal essentially to everyone. We send this signal to everyone. So my first question is, these network clients that we are iterating, are these, do, do we also have here network peers, or they are only network clients? That's first question. If color not undefined, who is color here? Okay, it seems that we are reusing a function that already existed here, that it was used with this parameter color. So I guess this function is used, yes, when we have to broadcast to clients events. And this is something that is probably not correct. Why? Because the concept of an event doesn't belong to the WebSocket layer. It belongs to social trading, okay? Or the social graph service. So an event is a request to modify the social graph, whatever that means. So that this is resolved in this way is something that it shouldn't be. I don't like it. And it seems that we added the function and made it public so that we can reuse the function from inside the service, which is kind of unacceptable. So how are we going to do this? It looks like to me that the ones broadcasting the signals or the event should be the guys inside these services, not the WebSocket stuff. The problem is that these guys don't have a way to broadcast it. To broadcast it, you have to be able to do a socket send. Okay, so let's continue analyzing this. So we have all the network clients in here. Let's check who add this stuff. Okay, if it is a network client, it seems that we put it here. If it is a network peer, we put it here. So that means that these are actually network clients. And this answers the question of if that included network nodes or not. So it does not include network nodes. So there is a place. Where is this add to array? Okay, so there is a maintenance of this array with the connections that are actually open. Okay, so as to avoid the risk trying to send something that is not possible. Um, so how do we do this in a way that is architecturally elegant? We need it broadcast not to happen at this place. Probably I would like to work probably with events, and once I have it figured that out, then I work with signals. And the reason for that is that events are part of the social graph service, and they know, because they hold the social graph, they know who they can send this to. So let me do that. Let's go back here. Okay. So to this client interface, let's look for this guy, client interface of the social graph. uh, mm, that is social trading network. Okay, so we have two stuff with the same name. This is the social trading client interface. Okay. So we have this message receive and query receive. Sorry, we have message receive, which can be a query event or a signal receive. Why do I have a signal here? This is interesting. I didn't remember. I don't remember to have this. Well, it seems that I drafted some stuff regarding signals, but that was like in the first iteration, and this is obsolete. Or maybe not that much. Maybe I can reuse this stuff. And even though the signal is not going to come via WebSockets, but through the signal service, because somehow the problem with the signal is that I can process the signal, but I don't actually know who I should send the signal to, because I need to send the signal only to the people that actually are following the guy who is emitting the signal. And as a signal service, I don't know that. So maybe here, this guy, once it does its stuff, validate the signal to blah blah blah, maybe this guy should send the signal to the social graph service running at the same node, and it will be like a dependency. So you can, if you're running signals, then you also need the social graph, at least to distribute the signals to clients. If you don't have the social graph running, service running, you still can distribute the signals to other nodes, which could be, probably should be like that. So if I want to distribute the signals, I don't distribute it directly to clients. So this call is not really done in this way. The way I distribute the signals to clients is via the social graph service. And if there is no social graph service, the only thing I can do is to send it to other nodes. And that ends my problem as a trading signal service. Okay. So that would tell us that we will have to modify this stuff at a minimum. Okay. But also we have this client interface. Probably we need a service interface, because this is the interface for client applications. Okay. And client applications are applications that send information to the network node. Peer interface is the interface where all messages received from other network nodes are coming through. But a service interface would be the interface that this social graph service have towards other services running at the same node, like for example the trading signal service. Okay, so that would mean that this guy here, it cannot be a query event or signal. This could be a query or event, is the only two things that can be received. These are the only two things that can be received via WebSockets through a client, okay? And I will have to create a different module specifically for signals. And once I have that, inside there I can call from the other service to this service and process the signal, which by processing that would mean probably adding a few counters here and there, and also distributing the signals to all the clients connected. But to distribute the signal to all the clients connected, we need a way to have access to those connections that we don't have it right now here at the social trading client interface. That means that from the WebSockets we will need to send as a parameter something that represents the connections that we have. Right, so let's study this a little bit more. For example, here, who is instantiating this? Okay, this is instantiated only once. And it's not here. So it looks to me also that these entities, network clients and network peers, probably they don't belong to here either. But let's check this out. Who is these network clients and what we are storing there? So we are storing the caller. And caller, what is caller? Caller is an object that we create here, which includes the socket, the user profile, role and node, socket, role. The role is the declare role that comes at the message header. The user profile, okay, also have a blockchain account. Okay, we determine the user profile at some point based on the blockchain account. That is something that we get by recovering from the signature. Okay, but there is something missing, that is the entity sending the message. Caller role, caller role, network client, and caller node. This is strange because I don't see any other place where this is set. If the roller of the caller is a network peer, the problem that there's no place I see where caller is. I guess caller node is never used. I don't see here in broadcast to peers. We are using the socket ID. So probably this is the thing we should use here too. And there is no such a thing as a caller node. Okay. Okay, so what do we have? We have that every time there is a new connection, we create this caller object, and we add a socket property, and we will identify the user profile and the blockchain account of that user profile. And the role of a caller is, it can be a network client or network peer, and based on that roles, we are going to treat these two people different. Okay, there's some things missing here. That is, which is the application that is calling. And this blockchain account is the user profile blockchain account. It's not the caller blockchain account. So here, okay, because this, or it's not a blockchain account. No, this is the user app blockchain account, because I bet that this message is signed by the user app. It cannot be signed by the user profile because there's no private key of that. So this blockchain account is the user app blockchain account. Oh my god. It appears without me typing. What is this? Okay. Okay, so this is the user app blockchain account from which we can get a user profile by blockchain account that we are going to end up assigning that to caller user profile if all the validations are correct. Okay, so again, we got a caller, and this is the information we know about the caller: a socket, a user profile, a user app blockchain account. So what do we need to have? At the moment we receive an event or a signal to know who we can distribute this to, because it's not the user profile the one following. And the problem is that a user app that is one signing this might have behind it many social identities. So let's analyze this in here. Okay, let's take this example. User apps. What we are saying is the following. The desktop app 1 is connecting to the network node 1. Okay, so because it's signing the messages with this signing account, I mean, at least to establish the connection, we know that behind this application it is this user profile. Okay, we know that. So because this user profile has these social personas, this user bot is not really user bots. It should be like social trading bot. Okay, here are the social trading bots. So in order to know if I have to send this signal to, or this event to the connection where we have this guy, I need to see if any of the bots or any of the social personas that this user have are following specifically the entity emitting the signal or the event. Okay, so let's say that again. The one who is going to get connected to the network is not the social persona 1, 2, or bot 1 or 2. The one who is going to be connected is a user app. And the user app belongs to a user profile. Okay? We don't know if this user app is showing at the moment at the screen what's going on with this bot, or this social persona, or this one. We don't know and we don't care. What we know is that this user profile has all these guys. And because one of these guys at least is following the social persona or the social trading bot that is emitting the signal, then it deserves to receive that signal. So we have to send that information to them. Okay? So that means that we will need for the event who is specifically the one emitting the event and who is specifically the one emitting the signal. Okay? So if it is not at the signal, we will need it. And we will need specifically who is emitting the event. But I think we have it. Once we know that, we need to for each, I think at the social graph, one thing that we are tracking is all the people who are following one entity. We have an array or a map with all these guys. So we can simply, with the user profile, we can get an array of all the social trading bots and all the social personas and iterate them both and see if any of these guys is on the list of followers of the one producing the event or the signal. And if it is, then we send the event or the signal. If it is none, then we avoid sending the event of the signal, and that is pretty much what we need to do. Okay, so we have theoretically solved the problem, or understood the problem, not solved it. Okay, going back to the code, we have this caller array, and we have this network client. Probably not that I really like it, but probably from the service we can get this, or maybe do not produce a callback. What I can do is at the events, when I receive a message, I can send inside there the array of colors. Okay, and from there I don't really like it because we have this socket there, and that would mean that the next layer know about the socket implementation. So how would I solve this? Maybe I could create another module. Maybe I could create another module. But I don't want to overcomplicate it either. So we have the user profile. From there we will get all the bots and social personas, social bots and social personas. Maybe I can solve it by Also, probably this needs to be wrapped with a message header. Probably the correct way to do this is I send the guy the service, the array with all the user profiles that are currently connected. Okay. Then maybe this guy can return an array with all the guys I need to send. I need to broadcast the stuff. And then if result is okay and the response got that information, then I can iterate here, not because it's an event, but just because it comes in the response. Then I can iterate this and myself broadcast the event or whatever. See that here we are broadcasting the event as we receive it. Okay? So we're not broadcasting this response. Okay? Yes, I could have a broadcast to property at the response, and I can extract it from the response. I could extract it from the response, send the rest of the response to the caller, and then use that array of profile ID to iterate my connected array, and I check if the ID is in that array. If it is in that array, maybe an array or a map. Or even better, maybe I can return an array of colors which were selected to be broadcasted the message. And instead of using the other array, I use the array that is already filtered out. So I don't have to do a matching again. Yeah, I like that idea. I like that idea. Okay, so it seems we'll have quite a few changes. We are going to do the events first, okay? But to do it right, let me evaluate again if I will break this into two modules. Or just keep it like this. Hmm. Well, I think I'm going to move forward and divide this. So to make it very explicit that an internal call from another service is not on the same flow than a call from a network client. Okay? So let's start. So it's going to be a similar stuff. So represent the interface, the social graph service with we don't need this explanation, and that's it. So we are going to also clarify this. This model represents the interface, the social graph service or network have with network clients. You don't need this explanation. Okay. So from here, we're going to remove the possibility of signals. So we either receive a query or an event, and that's it. In the case of the service interface, we will request this for standardization purposes, but we're not going to support queries, event receive, only signal receive. Okay. Finally, we'll come to the project schema and make a search. Okay. Okay, and we will need someone to run this stuff. And my guess is happening inside here. Service interface. Service interface. And service interface. Service interface. Service interface. And service interface. Okay, this structure made this module initialized and accessible from the other service. Amazing. Service interface, services, service, and serve. Very good. So, service interface implemented. Okay, so now we got our service interface that we will use later for processing the signals. Okay, but now we gotta solve the events distribution. For the events distribution, we will need to do this. To the client interface, we will need to send the network clients. Okay, this in fact is like this. This object network client is an array that if you see it inside here, this is the user profile of who is sending the message. Okay, then we have user profiles connected user profiles. We're going to call it like this because in this context, so these guys, well, in fact, when it is a query, I don't need to do this because queries don't need to be broadcasted to anybody. So it's only on events. Okay. So that means that we have these connected user profiles. Okay. So then when we have an event and the event is okay, we will need a function that receive this array of user profiles. So we're going to do response broadcast to or notify or broadcast. So response broadcast to select user. Okay, and we're going to send this in so that we receive an array only with the guys selected. Okay, or filter followers from user profile. That is more explicit. Filter followers from user profile, and then we respond everything. So when this comes back here, okay, so from the response, we're going to extract response, yes, and response broadcast to will undefined. So just extract that, and we are also going to do that here. Okay, so now here we would have an array with the colors and with the colors selected. If see that somehow broadcast to peers is going to be tied to the fact that this returns something, and it only returns something when it is an event, even if it is an empty array. Okay, so if it is at least an empty array, then we are going to broadcast to peers and broadcast to clients. And in the case of clients, we are going to send the array of who to broadcast to. So this is not going to be an open function anymore, just a function that can be executed inside here. So instead of going through network clients, we will go through the array broadcast to. Probably we'll call it still network clients. and we will do the broadcast. Okay, so to recap, we have modified this so that it doesn't depend if it is an event or not, but just if we receive an array or not. So if this is not undefined and result was okay, then we would do this and broadcast to the this array that has been filtered out. So for that, we are sending that at client interface, but also we need to send the same stuff to peer interface so that whatever happens at both. Well, this peer interface looks like a little bit outdated. Why do we need the user profile here? Hold on. Why would another peer make a query? That doesn't make sense. There's nothing that a peer could ask another. It can only send an event. Okay, in fact, it's not supported. So only an event. Okay. So why do we need a user profile inside an event? Okay. Because we check this at the peer interface. At the peer interface, we don't check that. Still, it's not clear how we avoid one network node feeding events to some other network node. Because the events needs to be signed by whoever is emitting it. And that signature has to be verified. So I'm going to write that. Oh, it needs to be signed by the social persona or social bot emitting them so that on the peer interface can validate are not forged. Okay, so that is another pending stuff. It seems that events are not signed by the entity producing the event. Okay. The list of things to do is quite long. Okay, so we don't need the user profile here. That means that this parameter that we are sending in is not really needed because we are on the network peer interface. So in that peer interface, then we're going to have event receive, a event message, and connected user profile. Oh no, 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 no. It's not here. It is here. Okay. So if you are here, then I send you the event message and this guy. And here, when you're going to say everything is okay, we will do the same trick. Then here, we're going to select who we have to broadcast this. Okay, now that we are even at both places. The problem is we don't have this function, and that is what we are going to need to implement now. So that function, we're going to place it as an utility module. I'm going to close this, 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 and this. We're going to place it as an utility module similar to this guy. Okay. What we're trying to do here is so we're going to create an utility module called broadcasting filter. .js. I'm going to steal this stuff from here. Social trading. The name of the function is going to be this. And we will have connected peers, connected user profile as a parameter. This module help us filter which user needs be notified. Need to be notified. Enough. Okay. So we'll add this to the project schema. This guy is called broadcasting filter. Broadcasting filter. Broadcasting filter. And broadcasting filter. Okay. So here we are. We got that this guy, hold on. What I'm going to do now is to get this call needs this guy. Okay, so this is the way we are calling this function from here and from here too. Okay. So there's a typo here. Filter followers. Followers from user profile. Okay. Okay, so my next question is how do we do what we say we were going to do? That is, I need what we said is that whoever is sending the event whoever is sending the event has a user profile. Well, no. Whoever is sending the event is sending it via either a social persona or a social trading bot, right? Yeah. So the guy is connected. The one that is connected is a user profile and have any number of bots or social personas. So if any of these is following the guy sending the event, then we send the stuff. So that was the sequence. So how do we know first here who is sending the event? How do we know that? Well, there is a deeper problem here. And the problem is that essentially we don't have a clear differentiation between the user profile and the user social profile. And that is one problem. Because we are talking about user profile ID and these are user social profile ID. So before going deeper into this, I need to fix this ambiguity. I need to fix and be sure that this emitter user profile ID is in fact a user social profile ID. But at the same time, that is not really clear because now we are calling that social personas, not no social user social profile. So it seems that there is a refactoring needed in the middle here. So it's like a big task in order to be able to work with this. Let me load some other modules that I will need to check. For example, this event module. When we have an event, then we are coming into here. Okay. I see that everything happens because we have a structure of objects and we get to those objects based on the IDs we receive because they are also add memory maps. So that would make it not that difficult to implement that function broadcasting filter that we have a pending task. Okay. What bothers me is that this we are still talking about this user profile and user social profile in a very ambiguous way, because here we are talking about user profile ID, which is really super ambiguous. So probably we'll get it up to here. Um, if we recap, we can say that we spent this episode analyzing how to solve the problem. It's kind of a big deal. We discovered that the way to do it, we discovered that we will have one service talking to the other service. We divided the the interfaces, the client interface. We defined it how we were going to handle this by separating um, the logic of the social graph service from the WebSocket interface. And we managed to implement the structure up to we got to creating the module of broadcasting filter. But to actually implement that broadcast filter, we need information coming from the client app. And we need to know who is sending the message, the event, or the signal. So we need to be very clear, because we need to know who are the people following this guy. So in order to get there, I would prefer to spend one episode cleaning these ambiguities so that we can have um, whatever is working today, but with the concept of social personas, and the whatever it says user profile, be sure that we are talking about a social persona and not the actual user profile. Okay, I got to make all these checks in many different places. So we are going to do that in an episode specifically for that. Okay, so I will leave this here, and at the next episode I will take the note. I'm going to put the task of making sure user profile is not mixed with social profile, and also refactor user social profile into social persona. Okay, so we'll touch almost everywhere and this stabilize all the stuff. So we need to make sure that everything is well connected. Okay, so that is all for now. If come back to the next episode so that you see how this progress. Okay, see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and bye.